If there's anything aside from your Etsy listing photos that are going to kill your sales, it's your descriptions. I have reviewed dozens of Etsy shops at this point and have shopped from dozens more myself, browsed hundreds of thousands probably of listings on Etsy, just like from personal shopping, and some of y'all are not too good at writing descriptions, so let's fix that. And I know some experienced sellers that come upon this video are going to be like, Abby, I cannot pay my own buyers to read the descriptions, so why should I spend time doing this? I not only have a solution for that problem, but I'll show you how to quickly write descriptions that actually convert into sales. Before we get started, there are 3 things that you need to keep in mind during this process and probably every other step of your Etsy shop as well. Number 1, it is easy to forget that every day thousands of people will visit Etsy for the very first time. So don't assume that they know how it works. Number 2, don't assume that everybody who clicks on your listing is going to know exactly what it is and what it's for. And number 3, don't assume that anybody is going to read the entire description. Contrary to popular belief, shorter is not always better. You might remember that old adage that they used to say in English class when you would say, how long is this essay supposed to be? And they're like, well, it's like a good skirt. It's supposed to be long enough to cover the basics, but short enough to be interesting. That's what you're aiming for. And if you have a better analogy than that, please let me know because I don't particularly like that one. Now, depending on how many listings you have and how many descriptions you need to rewrite, this seems pretty time consuming, but it is not if you know how to copy and paste. Let's go through this process step by step. We're going to create an outline that you can use for basically every listing. All you have to do is copy and paste and change some details here and there. You probably have more than one kind of item in your shop, so let's make a list of those different kinds. And this probably is going to correlate with your shop sections. So for this example, I am creating an imaginary t-shirt shop. So that's what my examples are going to be about. So if you have a t-shirt shop, maybe like print on demand or something, or if you screen print, your shop probably has standard t-shirts. You might have baseball tees and some hoodies and maybe more. I don't know. Just for my example, we have 3 sections, okay? So we'll start with the first type and then we'll copy and paste that later on to fit the different types of listings. And then from there, once you copy and paste it into Etsy, you can change the details for each specific listing. So we'll start with the first one. I'll just do regular t-shirts. It doesn't matter, but just for demonstration. So there is a reason that things are in a certain order. So the first part of your description is actually important for your SEO and metadata or your meta description. This will be the first 160 characters or so, 130 to 160, I believe. If you're like, what in the heck did you just say? Let me break it down as best as I can. So you may be familiar slightly with SEO or search engine optimization. Basically, every web page on the internet is kind of like a library where there's a catalog of everything. So there's a catalog of the internet, and that goes into your SEO because it tells Google and other search engines what the web page is, and your Etsy listing is its own web page. Metadata is the parts of the web page, so it's going to have the title. So the web page title is your listing title, and the meta description is going to be those first 160 characters of your description. So it is important for search engine optimization for that part of your description to have your focus keywords in there, which I'll get to in a second. So the best practice for this part of the description is to, well, be descriptive. So make sure to include your primary keyword, your focus keyword, whatever you want to call it, but don't just put that and stop, okay? Because I've seen a lot of people do that as well. They'll just put the keyword and that's it. Write an enticing sentence about that product and include the keyword in there. So why I say it needs to be a sentence and not just a bunch of keywords. If your buyer is on a desktop computer, they're going to see that snippet as well, and then it will have a part where they can click learn more about this item. So you need to catch their attention. They don't want to see a bunch of just random keywords in there. They want to be drawn in by your descriptive sentence. Now, unfortunately, this does not happen on the Etsy app, so I will let you know how to deal with that later on. Basically on mobile or on the mobile app, they have to click to see the item information at all. It doesn't show like a preview. So for our t-shirt shop example, it is almost Halloween now, so I am going to be selling a shirt with bats on it. So you don't want to put black bats t-shirt and that's it. So I would do something like complete your look with this black bats t-shirt. The super soft cotton, loose fit, and crisp design will leave you feeling spooky and comfy. Something like that. I don't know, that's kind of corny, but whatever. And you can get creative with it, show some personality there. Just make sure that somewhere you have that keyword. Some of the best description, like opening sentences that I have seen are like jokes or maybe memes somehow that are relevant to the product. So that's our first line or so, and then from here on we're going to be doing headings and bullet points. Because at this point, SEO has stopped reading and it's going to be more about giving your buyer the information they need. And they are not going to read the description, most likely they are going to skim. Okay, keyword here is skim. You want to avoid using more than one sentence per paragraph if possible, or just avoid paragraphs entirely. Because since the vast majority of Etsy shoppers are on a mobile device, if you start doing paragraphs, it's going to look like a wall of text real quick on that small screen. You'll start off with the most important information about the product. What's actually most important can vary depending on what the product is and your interpretation. I generally put how to use the product, what it's made of, and care instructions. For your headings, make that the topic of the section. So if your first section is what the product actually is, you could say something like our t-shirts are, or this t-shirt is, ... I use all caps for my headings just to make them stand out a bit. You could also put like emojis around them, something to kind of fit your branding. So my t-shirt description would say our t-shirts are, and then I'd have bullet points that say made from 100% cotton, relaxed fit, unisex, screen printed in-house, available in adult extra small through 5X. And for something like t-shirts, you could put the brand name like Bella Canvas or Gildan or whatever it is, since people may be familiar with that and know what their size is going to be. And don't forget to put dimensions here. And after that, put any options or variations you have and what the differences are. So like a t-shirt is available in a bunch of different sizes, so you would list the sizes that are available like I did earlier. And here you could put a size chart, so like extra small is this measurement to this measurement, small is this measurement to this measurement, etc. Or what I do suggest in this case for clothing is to have a size chart in a photo, and you could mention in the description that the size chart is in the photo. Something that is not clothing that comes in different sizes should have dimensions or explanations of the different sizes as well. Just please do not list something that comes in multiple sizes and not explain what the sizes are. I've seen people do this with like hats, candles, cups. Like, how am I supposed to know the difference between a small and large hat if you don't tell me what it is? You know, like I would not purchase that kind of item myself if I didn't know that. So you should label these differences in a photo as well. So if you have hats, for example, put the different sizes like next to each other and explain, like put text that says small, large, so people can see the difference. And next I would put care instructions. For a t-shirt, this would be something like machine washable and dryable, no bleach or something like that. And if it is maybe a wooden item, you want to say don't use harsh cleaners, you know, wipe with oil every now and then or something, you know, something applicable that you would want to know how to clean this item if you have never used one or seen one before. And especially if the item is like drinkware or silverware or something like that, you need to know how to wash it and how to use it, because again, can't assume that they already know. So for the next section, especially if your item is personalizable or customizable, is personalizable even a word? Able to be personalized? I say especially if it is customizable in some way, but I would still do this anyways if it's not. But explain exactly how to order. Again, we can't assume that a buyer is going to understand how Etsy works. And this step kind of starts when you first make a listing. Just be careful that there aren't too many options and it's not too complicated. If you have like 4 or 5 different choices the customer has to make, that is too much. I've seen some listings where they can choose, like if it's an ornament or something, they can choose the shape, the size, the color of the actual ornament, the color of glitter, the font for the lettering color. Like, just stop. Because that is beyond the capabilities that Etsy has to put like the different options, and they're not going to remember to message you all of that, and then you're going to end up having to go back and forth to figure out what exactly they want, it's just too much and they might not even order it in the first place if it's too difficult. If you want a bunch of different options like that, just make them different listings. So like if you do ornaments, maybe only let them put the name and pick the color, and that's it. So for this section, I will call it how to order. So for my t-shirt, let's say they can add a name and they can pick what color they want. And of course, they still have to be able to select the size. So I would say step 1, select your size using the size chart provided in the photos. Step 2, select your favorite print color. And step 3, in the personalization box, add the name you'd like to be printed on the shirt up to XYZ characters. This is important. I see a lot of people have names, or like you can add text. Make sure that you tell them how much text they can put on the item. And then step 4, add to cart and check out. At this point, the buyer may stop reading if they're trying to read the whole thing, but we do have a few more things that could really help. And again, we can't assume that people know how Etsy works, so they may not know that they can click on your shop name to see more products from your specific shop. They also may not know that there is like information about your shipping process and stuff in your Etsy shop like main page. So you can add a link to your descriptions, and I actually suggest to add 2 links. The first link is going to be a link to the corresponding section of your shop. So the heading would be something like, if you like this t-shirt and want to see more, click here. It is very important that you link the section and not like another item, for example, because if you link a specific item or like a specific listing and that sells out, then that link is no longer active and you won't know that. So it will just not work, and then people will not be able to use it. But your section links will always stay the same unless you change them in some way. Like if you delete a section and then add a new one, like if I for some reason would delete my t-shirt section and add a second t-shirt section, or put that item in a different section, that should be fine. And the only way to find this link is to view your shop as a customer. So when you're on your computer, you're in your shop manager, go all the way down to the bottom left, there's your shop name, it's got the little pencil next to it. Just click on your shop name, or go to etsy.com and type in, like search your shop, type in your URL, go to your shop, view it as a customer would, and then click on whatever section you want to link and then copy and paste the URL. Next link is going to be just a link back to your shop. You could say something like, to view my shop, click here. But wait, there's more. So the buyer may not know how shipping works. I've seen this happen a lot where people that are kind of new to Etsy don't understand that it's a bunch of individual shops that ship their own stuff. So I'll put a heading that says shipping, and then say like, once I receive your order, I will ship it within the specified time frame below, because Etsy has that handy little timeline thing that says if you order today, the seller will ship it between this and this date, and then you'll receive it between this and this date. And I'll put orders are packaged in a mailer or a box or whatever it is. Gift wrapping is available, shipping upgrades are available at checkout, anything important like that. And then for the very last thing in the description, I put a short little elevator pitch about me and my shop. Just keep it short and to the point. Don't put like your whole autobiography here, but just something like about me. And then Abby's Imaginary T-shirts has all of your spooky t-shirts needs covered. All t-shirts are screen printed in-house. Just something quick like that. And then just a couple things that I've noticed people do that I think you should probably avoid. This is a big pet peeve of mine, actually. I pointed out in almost every shop review that I noticed does this. But your shop and your products are for the customer. They are not for you. The customer does not owe you any pity or sympathy. And having a business or a shop is not so people can help you, it's so you can help them by providing them a product or service that they will benefit from. So I would strongly discourage any kind of verbiage like, thank you for supporting my small eensy weensy shop. Every order helps me reach my dreams. If you don't see anything you like, please check back later for more items. I promise I will have more, and I'll have something you like. Please buy from me. Don't do that in your descriptions, your shop story, your social media posts, or anything. It's kind of cringe. Actually, it is cringe in my opinion. I would also avoid open-ended offers for custom products. People will message you about custom orders regardless, but don't set yourself up to have to decline somebody's request. So if you're not prepared to completely redesign or like design in the first place a new product, like if I had my t-shirt shop, for example, and I wasn't prepared to totally create a new design, I would not offer custom t-shirts with no specifications. I would maybe offer something like, if you want this in a different color, message me or something, but I just would not open-ended say, hey, I'll make any t-shirt for you if you're not prepared to do that. Because like if you're just starting out, that's okay because you want every sale you can get, but as you get more sales and like busier with your shop, it is not worth a one-off order to spend a lot of time on. Something like a whole new design would just take too long for one order, so I pick your battles with that one. And one thing that's not bad in itself, but it can be, and I have seen this a lot, it's okay to mention sales or promotions in your descriptions, but make sure you're keeping them up to date. I don't know how many times when I've been like doing personal shopping on Etsy that they will have a description with like Black Friday sale information, but it's like April. So, you know, if you are not gonna remember to go back and take that out afterwards when the sale is over, just don't do it. Oh, and I almost forgot, I didn't even put it in my like notes for this. At the beginning of the video, I mentioned that I have a trick for people who frequently have issues, which I'm sure is everyone, but you frequently have issues with people not reading your descriptions. So the basic answer to that is to make a listing photo with the most important things, possibly the things that people don't read in your descriptions, okay? It is a-okay to have listing photos with information like text, and I highly recommend it for every single listing, okay? I have at least one photo with information about the product, just very, very short and simple bullet points about the product itself. And then you can make another one with information about your shop if you want. So if people are frequently like, oh, this item was smaller than I expected, or this item wasn't quite, you know, what I needed, or like it wasn't the right material, or I'm disappointed that this is not dishwasher safe, or whatever, put those kinds of things in that photo. So let us know if you learned anything new, or if you have any other tips or important things to add to a description, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.